Before we get into the rest of this, a tiny little warning, or a very big one. This village is full of very, very upsetting stuff. I'm just gonna be honest. The violence of war is very much in every NPC's dialogue. There is only suffering and misery, and about certain very terrible things that some of the soldiers have done. So I just want to put this out at the start of like, be warned. There is no happiness here. Hello, friends and strangers, and welcome back to part 3 of Hell is Us. We're in front of the village. I decided to switch out the outfit. I'm just gonna go through them bit by bit with every recording session. We're just gonna try something new, and if we find something in-game, I'm also going to adjust it. They don't seem to have any combat or other advantages, they're just purely visual, so why not use them? And today we're going to head into the village and hopefully get some answers. Of course, we also have the time loop. I have decided, because of my own blunder, that I didn't speak okay enough to say blob, and I called it Bob. This is Bob the time loop. And I think we're gonna come back every time we're still going to go out into the world. We have still, like, the guy who wants his lens, we have those soldiers, one of them wanted pills, we have the abbey that we have to return to. There's a lot. Every time we get back out, I think we're just gonna visit this, otherwise I will wait. Just like I said, I think the game will probably tell us? Maybe? It tells us when we defeat the Time Loop Guardian, so why shouldn't it? But maybe it doesn't, maybe it will. But yeah, for now, I think getting answers might be the more interesting thing to do, so let's do that first. Okay. The entrance that we're probably supposed to take, I think, will just be right here. I find it weird that, like, nobody actually... Like, you have a freaking... You just stand there with a freaking mounted gun and binoculars, and you just see some random dude walk up here, and you're just like, yep, we're not gonna, like, be like, hey, you down there, we have, like, protocols or something, don't approach or anything, or, hey, come over here, it's not safe out there, or any... No. He's just observing us and being like, yeah, not my job, I don't care. Let that dude come here or not, who gives a damn? I mean, I would normally just be like, well, it probably is not their thing to worry about, but we're in war. You should be more, like... Maybe your moral is already worn down because of the war, but you should have some kind of self-preservation still kicking in, that you can't just, like, let someone just run around there and don't say anything. Maybe because we took care of all the Hollow Walkers. Maybe they're like, this is actually someone who doesn't mean us any harm, but I still find this a bit weird. It's a tiny bit immersion breaking. It's not like a big problem, but it is just a bit weird.
I don't know how you managed to get here, and I don't care. I have my orders not to interfere with your operations. Just do me the same courtesy.
Or we have an actual answer. Huh. That is kind of curious, though. The last military person we talked to was the woman who told us we definitely should abandon the APC, otherwise there will be consequences. And this guy is like, I have my orders not to interfere. Based on the last thing I said, I was like, shouldn't there be soldiers who want to interfere with us? So that woman probably is from the special group of soldiers and has absolutely no ties to these people. That just makes them even more curious. That they're completely independent. They didn't even reach out and be like, hey, there's a person that did something, that stole something from us, you should potentially watch out for them. But no, nothing of the sort has happened.
That's all we need. A bunch of fucking outsiders roaming around our country. I strongly suggest you avoid my men. They have enough to worry about.
I also am quickly going to just look this up because I think I over-adjusted the volume. Yes, I did. Maybe it's better now.
I don't know how you managed to get here, and I don't care. That's all we need.
It's still a bit quiet. Perfect.
I don't know how you managed to get here, and I don't... That's all we need.
Who are you?
I'm Captain Vass, 6th Battalion, 3rd Company of the Asterian Armed Forces. I'm in charge here. Jova is part of Asteria now, so everything here belongs to the Sabinian cause.
Okay, we now know which side of the war these people are on.
I'll follow my orders for now, but there's a limit. The way I see it, you're not bulletproof, and you're alone.
Good to know.
I think we understand each other.
Somewhat. That probably then also means that the people we saw hanging at the tree are potentially the original, like, inhabitants of this village. And they might have been driven out forcefully. I don't want to repeat it, but like, there is no happiness here.
What happened here?
Justice happened here. If you think the Palamists aren't doing the same thing to us, you're a fucking idiot.
You know, that's the problem in war. Just because they are doing it to you, it doesn't justify it. And when you do it to them, now you have given them a reason to do it back again to you, so it's just... that's the cycle of violence, and it will never stop. This way of thinking is just perpetuating all the suffering on both sides forever and ever, until no one's left, potentially.
Jova's part of Asteria's relocation program. We were gonna get everything ready for the migrating Sabinian families.
Actually, we read about that, or heard about that.
That was before these damn creatures showed up.
Okay. That didn't answer too much of what's the deal with the creatures and why they showed up. Like, I hoped we get a bit of info in there, because they only appeared in the other region once we went back into the ruins, so I just expected something similar must have happened here. But oh well, we'll figure that out later.
It's the greatest country on this spinning ball of ours. Well, if it wasn't for the Palamists bringing us down several notches. When we finally get rid of them, Hadia will rise like it once did under King Aster. He was by far our greatest monarch.
King with the same queen? But no, the queen was driving the Sabinians away to the tower because they were sinners. So different royalty.
Look at what we've accomplished with fewer men and resources. We've captured the entire province of Umbrahan and pushed into Argola. I'm guessing We would have Trisk, the capital city of Argola, if it weren't for those damn things.
Okay. Names of places that will probably come back and be important. I might even write them down.
The Asterian armed forces will swing around and liberate Jehania when the fighting resumes. You know the saying, right? ON peacekeepers are as useful as a second asshole on your elbow. Useless outsider trash.
What the frick is that kind of saying? I mean, some sayings are weird, but like that is. I mean, yeah, I guess that's pretty useless. But like, what the? Sure.
We are superior in every way. We've dominated the arts, business, education, and politics for decades, if not centuries. We need to progress. The only way to achieve greatness is to rid ourselves of the Palamist swine. They're drowning in their own filth. We need to step on their heads and hold them underwater. If we let them, those bastards will drag us down with them.
Well, that sounds like both somewhat propaganda, but also just years upon years of just people thinking that way, and now it's the overly accepted truth. This, and let's just be honest, like what we even heard from the farmer, like how he was about like, oh, we believe in our God better than they them. He said something along those lines. So the same way of thinking that we are better is also on the other side. So this is really just like...
They're insects. Look at what they did to that Sabinian family in the marsh. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about the Palamists in the forest?
Ah, so the family on the tree?
Killing their women and children and sending their men to work camps? But they're not women. They're not children. And they certainly aren't men. When you have a cockroach problem in your home, you don't negotiate with the vermin to leave.
Yo. That's very fricked up to think of people like that.
You exterminate them.
But yeah, this is what war propaganda can do to people. That is like, yeah, it's us versus them, and whatever excuse you need to make people go along with it. They are evil, they are beneath us, they will drag us down with them. None of these actually are like full arguments that have like any actual factual like anything in them. There is not a hinge of stuff where it's like, okay, this is the reason why. It's just purely like we see them this way and that's why they are bad and we are better.
I don't know what they are, but I do know they aren't interested in the town. If they were, I wouldn't be standing here.
Huh. Interesting.
I sent a scouting party to try to figure out what we're dealing with here, but they never came back. I've been observing them for quite some time. They have no discernible pattern, rules, or hierarchy. In fact, the only thing they seem interested in is that strange dome-like mass in the marsh. My guess is they came out of it.
Huh.
I'd order a salvo on the damn thing, but I don't want to kick the hornet's nest.
Okay. They only seem interested in the time loop. And when we kill certain specific enemies, the game tells us we killed a time loop guardian. And I mean, the thing has the same weird circles moving that are also in part on mostly the arms of the entities. The Hollow Walkers specifically, not the Hazes. So could this actually be some kind of nest with the, well, the time loop guardians being literal guardians, like, for example, like comparable to an anthill or like bees, maybe even. Interesting. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but potentially. I guess we're gonna get answers to that when we actually enter that, and, well, whatever happens then. AAF orders non-interaction. Decoded AAF communique establishing a non-interaction policy towards the soldiers in black. Found in Jova Akasa marshes. Decoded orders below. Asterian Armed Forces High Command. To all AAF battalions, order: across all active fronts and supply lines, AAF forces may encounter unmarked soldiers wearing black uniforms. All AAF forces are ordered to completely disregard and ignore these soldiers. Do not, under any circumstance, engage, impede, or otherwise interact. Their objectives are irrelevant to our own and pose no threat to AAF operations. Interesting. So that's why he's like, we have no business with each other. Because we are wearing, well, right now we're not, but we are wearing potentially the uniform we took from the one soldier. Okay, so he expects us to be one of them. That clears that up, why he's like... But that is from the high command of these forces. And again, it seems like the woman who wants to kind of potentially see us dead because we stole the APC doesn't seem to have any direct link to these people. So it's interesting that they still have orders from high above that say, stay away from these people. From those soldiers. But you don't have other ties, potentially? I think... I mean, yeah, we have to somewhat figure out what the deal with these soldiers is. Because again, they seem to know what's up with the entities. Did they cause the outbreak of these things? Or are they just trying to combat them? Well, let's listen in to everyone else.
Yeah, see that guy? Looking through the binoculars, standing safely behind the sandbags? That's the captain. I suggest you chat with him before you wander into trouble.
Already did.
This is the life, man. For years I waited for this fucking war, and it finally arrived. 2 years and we're just getting started. You know what's exhausting? Pretending that everything is okay. Love thy neighbor bullshit. It's about time we rid ourselves of the Palamists. I'll drink to that.
I'm gonna be honest. If every single person here says something like that, it's gonna be exhausting.
Painting their horrible deeds for all to see? It's the first thing we saw when we rolled into the marsh. We weren't gonna let that slide. No way. Palamis pulled similar shit in my village. It's the reason I enlisted.
Sabinian family tree and... Oh, that's even more fricked up than just hanging people. That's just... Yeah, he said it was a family and oh... Now, there is one thing about that though. What we got from the ruins, and especially like the prison part of it, was that the Sabinians were the sinners who were led to the tower. Well, if the Palamists are still believing that part, then these kind of actions, as extreme as they are, at least we understand where they come from. That doesn't justify them in any way. But again, that in... like everything in that... Yeah, like the ancient ruins, I'm gonna call it. everything in there was like ancient. It was thousands of years ago. They said about like 1054, I think was the number. And if we really, like, if they still follow the same beliefs, that means this is like very deep ingrained hatred. And this has been going on for a long time. So it's also very understandable where these people come from, that they just, like he said, like, we need to exterminate them. This is... This is going to be the tagline for this entire thing. There is no happiness here. Like, this is just pure hatred on both sides, and it has been going on for so long that there is no cure anymore. There is no way you can just find a way for these two sides to coexist peacefully. Which sucks.
Move along. This house has been requisitioned by the Asterian Armed Forces to serve as Captain Voss's field office.
Okay. That might be good to know if we ever have to come back. He might be in there if we don't find him anywhere else. Oh, what are you doing?
I'm only permitted to play Sabinian classics, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I only happen to know one of their dreadful compositions.
Does it mean you're not a Sabinian?
I'm getting the impression that Captain Voss is tired of hearing the same tune over and over again. I need to learn some new pieces before I end up against the wall.
I have to say, this voice still sounds a bit low. I'm a bit fearful to crank it up too much, especially if potentially, if the Hollow Walker's screeches are also voice volume, then they're gonna be loud now, and yeah.
Good haul. We usually don't find much in these backwater Palamas shitholes. Last time we hit, we barely filled up one truck.
So you were just plundering everything. Makes sense. Interesting house, we're gonna look at that in a moment.
Voss is happy. And if Voss is happy, we're happy. He keeps the real good stuff in his office. We'll be living large after this.
So, I was gonna say, so a reason we may want to explore that, I just wanted to look over, but there is a ladder. Am I already going to do something that potentially is regrettable and puts me in potential danger? Yes. Absolutely. An ecstasy suppressor weak. Temporarily reduce ecstasy damage. Okay, and also grief suppressor. And rage. And terror, and those are some of the limbic spheres we have seen on other equipment. And we already read the rage suppressor that it reduces damage, so I'm guessing the colors are related to the colors of the hazes, and so they all do a different damage type? Potentially? Yeah, that doesn't work. No. So we can't get into his office. We have to find a key, but there's stuff in there. Okay. Got it. Makes sense. This is just lights up the tree. One lonely flower that's different from the rest. And the limbic battery small. Increase limbic energy regeneration. Single use. Condensed limbic energy cells slowly release stored energy on contact with limbic material. So I'm guessing we get more over time if we need it. Interesting. Do I want to rummage through the buildings, or do I want to talk to people first? Now we're here, so we're rummaging through this building. And there is a person here who has definitely not cleaned up that much. Definitely not. Maybe has a drinking problem.
I was part of the mob that hung those civilians in the marsh. I don't know what came over me.
Oh.
Now these soldiers make sure I pay for my crime every single night. And I deserve it.
This may need another trigger warning.
I knew all of them. We were neighbors. I taught their children. Those kids were my life. Rebecca, Talum, Justina, especially little Cyril Kun. I want to remember who I was back then, before all of this happened. I need to wake up from this nightmare. Sethers, forgive me.
So I'm guessing we can give that to you?
Thank you, but I don't need this.
Oh, no. No. Yeah, again. Your house is in really bad shape, but I'm repeating myself again. There is no happiness here. That is a lot. Both a lot of, like, that she now has to pay for it. You can probably imagine potentially what that's insinuating. I'm not gonna say it out loud, especially not on YouTube, because YouTube doesn't like certain things. But also the fact that she said, like, we were neighbors and now she did that is like, goodness gracious, what does drive you to that? Well, plain outside. Definitely hearable on recording, will be cut out. But yeah, what I wanted to say is, I don't really know how exactly I wanted to go there, but I wanted to talk about, like, yeah, what drives you to that? Could it just be potentially being forced to it? Could it be just overwhelming feeling of having to go along with others do? It's just because, like, someone said, oh, they're evil, and that's why you just did it, because it, like, other people say that this is the right thing, so you just go along with it? Ugh. This is not nice topics, but I mean, what did we expect? Guarding our children's future. Jova thanks you. Arthur Brahman? Jova owes you. May Zephyrus guide you, and Saint Palom protect you. And Berith Rome. And other names. Oh, those are some of the names that were named by the woman just now. And we have the eye symbol again. Sons of Umbra. Marauders? And on the other side it's something indiscernible front, so this could be a military group or something? Maybe some of those, like, military pioneers that were a thing in certain parts of the world, in certain cultures at certain times. Something similar to that? Which... ugh. It's an entire memorial to them. I mean, is it a memorial? These soldiers didn't do that. They probably didn't put this up. I'm not sure if the people of the town had the time right now to do something as artistic as this. Maybe you have something to say to that?
His gaze be upon you, my son.
I am questioning, are you doing this to yourselves, or is this soldier standing in front of you forcing you to?
You're not from here, are you? I know everyone around here. And yet, there is a way about you that is familiar to me.
Who are you?
I am Abbot Jaffer, the spiritual leader of Patham Abbey. My life started here, and it seems it will end here. I don't know where you are from, but I'm afraid you've wandered into hell.
Yeah, I don't think you're that wrong about that.
What happened here?
Madness and hatred happened here, and lots of it. When I finally managed to get back from Tulsi, I rushed to my brother's home, only to find my niece, Rebecca, orphaned. Then the soldiers began to round up the villagers. When they kicked in the door, I told her to hide. I gave myself up.
Where's the Abbey?
It's southeast of Jova, sitting on a rocky plateau. From the marshes you can see its beautiful golden spheres and Sethrus's ever-watchful eye.
Okay, that is what that eye really means. That's finally some confirmation on something.
Tread lightly, my son. Captain Voss sent some of his men to ransack the Abbey. He's obsessed with finding a treasure that does not exist.
Huh.
They can keep beating me for as long as they want. I have no idea what they are talking about.
Oh. So we were to the Abbey before and we saw soldiers at the door. Now we know what that is about. I just didn't really think about it. I was like, well, it's war times. There's just probably some people of the locals that protect something of religious importance. That makes sense, but we also read something about certain things in the Abbey, and I said something about like, oh, the Abbey might not be safe, and yeah. And now this all comes together and makes sense.
Your niece, Rebecca, is she okay?
How long can a young child survive in these horrible conditions? Could you be so kind as to check in on her?
We can try, but we have the feeling that this is not gonna end happily.
The last time I saw her was in my brother's home. It's the building with the treehouse next to it.
Okay, we at least know where that is.
Why is Captain Voss doing this to you?
Captain Voss is a criminal and thief parading as a soldier. You don't believe me? Look inside his trucks. They are filled with things he stole from Palamist families.
I mean, we already knew that. All the other soldiers have pretty much just confirmed that that is what they're doing here. Like, I really feel like I'm just repeating myself with everything, so I don't know if I'm gonna comment on every single thing, because like, everything here is just miserable. There is so much wrong that is... But again, it's like, what they're doing to this priest, that's not good. What Captain Voss is doing is pretty much just plundering. But then we have the family at the tree, where it's like, the other side isn't better. And, of course, if you are, for one reason or another, belonging to one of those sides, you may see the injustice that you inflict on onto the other side. You see that as, well, justified, because they did something terrible, and now you're just paying them back. Which leads us back to the cycle of violence. This is... like, everything so far in this village just points to the same thing. And again, I don't think if I like comment on everything that I have much to add. Because it just all goes back into the same cycle that's perpetuated over and over.
It is the reason why he arrested me. He can beat me as long as he likes. My answer will always remain the same. There is nothing of value in the Abbey besides our barrels of mead.
Now I'm partially going to believe you, but potentially he's looking for something that you don't know. The Abbey could be a bit of an older structure. Potentially there's a secret hidden underground or something, a secret basement. Because we have these secret sites. There was something talking about disturbing the sites is not good, and that was said by a palomist, I think. It was... I could look through all the things we have right now to talk about it, but potentially the Abbey was built upon and some of those ancient ruins of something that is potentially like a religious site, an important place, and it could be that there are some secrets that just the people don't know about. But that, of course, would bring up the question, how does Vaz know about that, or why does he have a suspicion that something like that exists? So this could either just be him being like, no, this is an important place to you, because it's important to your belief, so you have to have something important there. It could literally just him being like, no, you have to have something there. It could also, again, be what I just said, that there is actually something, but maybe the people don't know about it. Right now, I think it's probably just Voss being like, this place is important, so you have to be some... Like, there have to be valuables here that on his plunder trip he can, well, take with him.
The roots of hatred run deep and far across Hadia. This isn't the first time we've been caught in a perpetual cycle of violence.
Yeah, I believe that.
Sethrus's benevolence lives in all of us. But the serpent also lives in us. He does not dare show himself until the laws and customs have fallen.
So the serpent is like symbolizing the devil, or has a similar role in their belief. That's good to know, so every single time we see the serpent being mentioned, we have a bit more context.
When that happens, you will quickly realize that the chains holding civilized men are weak. Steel yourself, my son. The serpent strikes when we are at our most vulnerable. This war is a sword sharpened by propaganda and religious intolerance, slicing and dicing up what generations built over centuries within days. The exchange of cruel and violent acts and the lies perpetuated by the media all played their part. I was shocked to hear that even priests were involved in spreading hateful rhetoric. Now look at us. I see only darkness ahead, but I have faith in Sethrus. I believe Hadians can quell their emotions and come back to reason. They must, or all will fall to ruin.
Again, yeah, the cycle of violence. It's the us versus them mentality, and if just enough people say it, it will move masses. There's so many things in actual history that you can point to, even things nowadays that you can point to. And still, there are people who are just not seeing that an eye for an eye at some point will just lead to everybody being blind.
Lieutenant Rue was the first outsider I ever encountered. She was as curious about our customs and traditions as I was about hers. This Buddha she spoke of is a fascinating figure.
There's apparently some construction work going on. I'm not sure if you're hearing that. Well, actually no.
I was saddened to hear that the outside world seems to fall prey to the same dark impulses as Hadians, which is partly why the peacekeepers exist. Being a peacekeeper is admirable. Risking one's life for the betterment of others is a noble pursuit.
Good to know what these are about. But also seeing how, like, we have seen the 2ON people that are, well, out there in the marshes, not really in the best conditions. So, like, they don't have it really much better.
No matter how hard they try, I refuse to hate them and never will. We both share the same land and guard. There is plenty of room for peaceful coexistence, and Sethras has plenty of love to spare. I'm not naive. I understand why things are the way they are, but that doesn't mean I have to accept them. How do we stop the spread of hatred from one generation to the next? I lack the wisdom to know the answer, but know where to begin. I need to start with the next generation. The children of this war must let go of their hatred if we are to climb out of the hole we dug for ourselves.
I would fully agree with him. The big problem just is, if you're alone trying to do that, influencing an entire generation will just not be happening. Like, a lot of people need to be willing to do that. And one of the problems with that is, of course, when war happens and all of these horrifying things, and suddenly it's like, and now we're gonna teach our kids that this was not something we should repeat. We are not allowed to strike back. We're not allowed to answer this with more violence. Which, it may sound like, yeah, of course, we should try to stop it, but it's like, if you have been hurt by this, are you just willing to let it go? Most people probably will not. Most people will be like, no, I hate these people, and I want my revenge for whatever they did in this war. And then, of course, extend that to their children, be it as parents or as teachers. And actually, again, yeah, trying to break the cycle of violence, I would say, is commendable, but that's not easy. That's really not easy.
There is a moment in history that all palamists should reflect on, if not regret entirely. The country was ruled by a heavy-handed theocracy, with one thing in mind: power. A young charismatic erudite named Sabingo wrote several Reformation theses, which gained popularity. What did the Palamist traditionalists do? They hunted them down.
Oh.
They accused them of heresy and burned them at the stake. They were Palamists who only wanted reform. Nothing is easier than listening and finding common ground.
I think, for the most part, the opposite is true. Nothing is more difficult than listening and finding common ground. A lot of people just have their beliefs set in stone, and they will not listen to you telling you their side, like telling them your side. A lot of people just, they are set on what they believe, and even if you give them like full-on proof that what they say is even potentially just in tiny parts wrong, they're just gonna brush it off and be like, you're just talking. I don't have to listen to you. And especially if you have something of this magnitude like war, when both sides are disconvinced of the other side's wrongdoing and don't really see their own wrongdoings as something so bad because they feel it's justified, then listening and finding common ground is nigh impossible. You are definitely commendable for trying, dear priest, but this feels like a struggle against something you just can't really fight as one person.
It is effortless, compared to the alternative. That moment of hubris sent us on the path of endless wars. We don't learn from our mistakes. We only seem to repeat them.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's not effortless. It takes effort to actually understand that you might be in the wrong. That's something that... I mean, literally understanding that what you think, what you believe in, maybe just some random thing you said for something. Someone just asking you a question, you being like, oh, I don't really know, but probably something along the lines of this and that. And then it turns out like, oh, you're completely wrong. That alone. There are people who will just not at any point actually say, oh, I'm wrong. I apologize, I was completely and utterly wrong. You should not listen to me. There's a lot of people who are doubling down on that. They just can't accept that they actually were in the wrong. And again, with something like heavy beliefs tied to it, it's really difficult for people to admit that, yes, sometimes you are wrong. Happens to everyone. Nobody knows everything. Nobody is always perfectly correct. So him being like, it's effortless, it's like, it should be effortless, because we're all imperfect. We all have things that we do wrong from time to time, and admitting our faults is just a thing we all should do. That shouldn't be that difficult, but it is. To actually admit you did something wrong, it's not easy for a lot of people. And yeah, especially in war, it's like the moment when you do something wrong and the consequences are life and death, it's now admitting to that you did that also has the added problem of how do you live with that afterwards. So easier it is just to ignore it and try to just justify it with like, no, this wasn't wrong, this needed to happen because of this.
I overheard the guards speaking of such creatures. If what they describe is accurate, then the darkest days are ahead of us. In specific passages, the Holy Kata speaks of TR's demons. Some of these passages relate to the curse of TR, brought on by the great sins of destructive emotions. These writings were meant to be interpreted as metaphors and stories, to teach and inform us. Could this be happening? May his eye protect us.
Okay, something I would call more cheerful, even though it's still kind of not great. But TR is the serpent. We learned that in another passage, somewhere in the first ruin we went into. The emotions and stuff we have, like literally we got just a moment ago. We got these. Rage suppressor, grief, ecstasy, terror. Those are emotions. Somewhat. And also our equipment, the limbic spheres, are about these things. So these creatures do represent in certain ways certain emotions, certain feelings. And it could not just be the creatures themselves, it could be something more. So, as much as these are emotions that are not necessarily fully positive, they are something interesting in the lore of like what exactly are these limbic entities? What do they actually really represent? How did they come to be? Which I would focus much rather on than all of this, because again, there is no happiness here, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself, because everything is just going back to the cycle of violence. But yeah, that is part of this game, and we need things like this to Sometimes just hold a mirror to ourselves, to our society, and be like, hey, we're still doing the same problems. Like, it hasn't changed yet. These are things in the past, and they are repeating. Like, just right now, there's conflict in our world that still is just... like, nothing positive will come of that. And I think I'm going to stop to go into too much detail now, because it feels more miserable the more you talk about it. But again, it is also important to talk about it. You can't just ignore these things forever. So, dear soldier, do you have any insight on why exactly you're doing this? Are you just following orders?
Poor bastard. Next time he falls, I'll let him choke a little longer.
Oh, is that why he's... oh, that's why he's chained up. I thought you were, like, partially strangling him with the... no. You beat him so much that he... oh. Great! I was just talking about, like, maybe we can potentially be a little bit happy, and I expected him just to be either just saying the same thing again, or just being like... you know, oh, yeah, he's just following orders. Or something, but no, he probably enjoys seeing him suffer. That's great, that's wonderful, yeah. Great human beings. And all the terrible things we are capable of. Yeah, we were back down here. Well, we ran through a little bit before, but yeah, we were here. Little ON station, headquarters, camp, whatever we want to call it. The peacekeepers trying to... okay, blacksmith shop. So this is the important part, which is why I'm gonna leave it till last, because we have more people to talk to. There are more people in the village. We also have the edge of the village, and another soldier that's just overlooking things. Are you gonna have something less depressing and just something about the creatures?
Man, I'm sick of staring into the marsh. These things aren't looking for a fight anyway. I can't wait to get relieved. I need to pay our sweet doll a visit. That'll take the edge off.
No. Nope. That's still depressing. In a different way. But still. No happiness here. Yeah. So yeah, for everybody who has still not potentially realized of how fricked up this game is going to be, I think now there is no question anymore. Interesting. The ones in the marsh are not looking for a fight. They ignore the village, but this is very close to the village / kind of in the village.
Look at these fucking things. They're not the crunchiest chip in the bag, but they make up for it with pure aggression and ferocity. One of these bastards dismembered a guy like he was a mannequin. Well, they're calm now, but when you piss one off, run. Run your ass off.
Well, we can handle them.
I don't know why I'm still holding my gun. I saw a guy unload 2 clips into one of them. It just kept coming at him like it was nothing.
Yup.
We lost a lot of soldiers putting up these barricades. If they ever decide to storm the town, we're all fucked.
Yup. Which is actually very interesting. Like, none of these people have anything resembling the sword we are using. They are just using normal weapons. So, that brings to question the soldiers in the weird black uniforms even more. Did they carry the weapons from the beginning, or did they find them inside that ruin? But we have a blacksmith here that potentially made our necklace from the same material. So that's... The priest didn't say anything of like that there was something special that they were doing. That there is something that they know, potentially on a religious thing or a cultural, don't know, but something that has to do with the material of the sword and the necklace. He didn't mention anything, so potentially it has nothing to do with them and is really just something special for the blacksmith. I don't know, I just find it very interesting that like everything seems so normal, grounded in reality in this way, and then we have these things and we have these group of soldiers, and we only saw a few of them. We only saw the dead ones, we saw the one who was very wounded and then got crushed by rocks. He didn't have one of these weapons. We only saw one soldier with a weapon actually fighting, and we found another weapon at the corpse of another soldier. Which leads me to believe that these are probably ancient from these ruins. But then how much does the blacksmith have to do with it? We'll figure that out when we open that door, probably, hopefully.
These are the scumbags that hung the Sabinian family. What a waste of ammunition. They should have let me do it my way. They would have suffered for days.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop commenting.
This shit will never end. I need to get the fuck out of here. I had no choice, man. Voss and his goons look at magazines to see if we fired. Whatever you're doing in Jova, make it short.
Yeah, and those kind of people also exist. The people that just go along to not have the guns pointed at them and just be like, let's just get it over with and then everything will be fine again and we can just ignore it.
We caught one of these scumbags scavenging for food in one of the houses. A few ripped fingernails later, he gave up the rest. They were hiding like rats down in the old well. This filth got off easy if you ask me.
Oof. Again, I don't have much to add anymore. I think I made myself clear. This is just suffering all around. And nobody is in a good headspace. They're all just full of hatred and...
It's just a matter of time before those things break into Jova. And I don't intend to be sober when they do. This hooch right here, signing mead? God damn, it's good. This is the way I want to go out. I'd give anything for some more. I was stationed to guard Voss's office. Screw that. Wait, don't tell him I said that. I hope he's not looking for the extra key. Because I'm about to give it away to whoever brings me some more mead.
Uh-huh. Okay, this is where we can get the key, and the priest said something about the meat in the abbey, so put two and two together. We're gonna get into the abbey, get some meat, bring it to him, and then we can look into the office. Letter. Worried wife. A letter to an errant husband from his worried wife Camille and daughter Anna, found in the town of Jova, Akasa Marshes. Dear Henry, I hope this letter finds you, my love. If you are reading this, then you have found us in Jova. The evacuation of Tulsi was hectic, but we eventually made it out and were relocated here. Out of the frying pan and into the fire, it seems. A few weeks after we arrived, we came under siege by Astarian forces. They've occupied the town and are moving everyone out in the morning. I have no idea where they are taking us. Anna is terrified and misses you. She asks about her father daily. I've left my rosary for you with this letter. Please find us. My prayers are with you, love, Camille and Anna. And the rosary has symbols from the religion. There is the pickaxe again. On the little ones. And the big part looks like the eye. Asunder. Good deed started. Well, hopefully we can find them alive, but it seems like your husband isn't, so yeah. This is one of those things where it's like, well, it's a Souls-like, of course. No side quest can end in happiness. But with everything being this bleak around here, it's like... it just kind of feels even worse. Oh, this is Vitalis' home. Okay, I said I wanted to do other things first before I go in there. So, we're gonna come back to this... But first I want to check out the treehouse house. Our day will come. And the O is the I. How do you get up there? I mean, I guess you kinda climb as a kid up the tree, or you use that. But for our player character, I don't think we can get in there. Something is blocking the door. Does not open from this side, and we can't just... Come on, you can absolutely go up there, jump over there, and probably haul your ass over there. Never forget, January 25, 1992. The Illigat Valley Pilgrims Massacre. And we see woman holding probably her daughter and people just hitting them. And other people around. So another kind of memorial. Death to all saps, Sabinial family tree. More of that. This is... Okay, they said something about the well before. That there were people in there and they got them out. And then we see... Like, there's a little elephant here. There's a little... Not entirely sure. But yeah, little plushies and stuff. There's clothes scattered around. They like literally took everything they could find here. Everything these people that were hiding here still had on them. This looks like a bigger place. Oh! Door with symbols. Wait. I think the... Yeah, I don't know, like... light bulb and the horseshoe-esque symbols, we've seen those. Those were with the Enlightenment. We switched the lights on for those. So this is the door. So we need to find the other three symbols out in the Akasa marshes. Okay. I mean, exploring down here definitely will be interesting and all, but I kinda wanna finish the village first. Because there's just still so much to go around here. One thing at a time. And we can't open that to get into the basement. We can take the hole in the wall, though. It's another just, yeah, cleaned out house. They just... Like, it literally looks like an earthquake happened. But it's just probably the soldiers rummaging through, taking everything they can. Family picture.
Dear Diary, Mommy and Daddy are still yelling at each other
That was pretty quiet. I don't know, I have to fiddle with the audio a bit more. And oh, we found you. All huddled together and alone.
You're not a soldier, are you?
Well, not one of these soldiers, but... Well... Wait, no. Our character was a soldier.
Please don't tell anyone I'm here.
Hey, who are you?
I'm Rebecca. I've been hiding here since the attack on Jova. When the bombs fell from the sky, I was playing in the treehouse with my baby brother. Parents ran out and screamed at us to get down. My baby brother ran to them. That's when the bomb exploded.
And that's why the house is in such a state, and... oh...
I saw your uncle. He's gonna be alright.
Thanks, Zethyrus. Uncle Jaffer is like all the great saints in the stories he used to read to me. He told me about the great holy men who fought against the Sabinian sinners.
Well, so much as I wanted to give him for, hey, he's trying to do good, but that wording alone, holy men fighting against Sabinian sinners, literally telling us we are better than them. Now, these could have, of course, been Sabinians that actually did criminal things and therefore would actually be sinners and whatnot, but the way this is said is just... that's just indoctrination to see, like, well, point at it as like, we are better than them. Look at these past things, these texts, these stories that tell us how people that belong to our side fought against them. It goes back to the cycle of violence. The way how you phrase something like that, it has a lot of meaning behind it. I mean, and it could also be that he actually tried to read a story that actually has a different meaning to it. Like, maybe she says something about it soon, but it could be that, yes, there were holy men who fought against the sinners, but the story may actually have a bad ending and there is a moral to it that might be the part that he actually wanted to convey, but potentially that's not the thing that is remembered the most. Sometimes certain things get lost if you repeat a story, if you tell it in a specific way, even if not intentional, but just on accident. And then, of course, whatever actually is what people hear, or sometimes what they want to hear, is what they themselves then pass on, and so the cycle continues. Sometimes, of course, also through the influence of everything around you. Right? Like, one person could mean well and tell you a story that has a moral, and the next person also tells you the story but leaves out exactly that part and only focuses on the we fighting against sinners. And some of these things I'm probably interpreting too much into, but some of it also just is a very good depiction of some actual terrible things that happened in reality, and some historic things of how certain movements started and perpetuated. So it's kind of impossible to not have some of these parallels. Blech.
Uncle Jaffer always gives so much to help others in need. Zethyrus would never let him die. He wouldn't.
What happened here?
The soldiers rounded up everyone. Uncle Jaffer told me to hide when they entered the house. They arrested him and they took him somewhere else. The soldiers separated everyone. The men, the women, the children. People were screaming and crying when they were being forced into the buses. The soldiers didn't take everyone, though. The rest were brought into the forest across the marsh. Only the soldiers came back.
That could be where the farmer talked about. He wasn't there, but his sons were, and we saw the graves of the sons. That could be part of that. Like, when the soldiers went out, that they just found these people and then... Well, when we're already out here, as this insinuates, that they probably just killed them. That they just took these poor kids they found there, and... I mean, they don't have to be kids. He just talked about his sons. They could have been adults, but the point still stands. They might just be collateral damage in this one act. Well, another plane. So we're gonna listen to that again, and I probably have cut it out.
Miss Haley taught us about Hadia. She told us that the Sabinians were horrible people who always wanted to hurt us. And they gave us examples of what happened in our history. King Astor was a very mean man who wanted to eliminate all the Palamists. The Sabinians think he's a hero. It's true. Look at what they did to us in Jova.
Yeah, but that is the point. The cycle of violence. Look at what they did, and therefore we're now going to answer violence with violence, and it never stops, because now you did the violence, so the other side can take the exact same point of view. They did this to us, and now we answer with the same kind of violence. And then you just ping-pong back and forth. And if you do that over a lot of time, like hundreds of years, there will never be an end. Again, unless both sides suddenly just go completely... Well, until everybody is dead.
Miss Haley was right. They all hate us.
Yes, they do, but so that this doesn't continue, we have to not hate back. Even though that is like an impossible thing to do. Like, if you're this child and you know, like, your house just exploded because of war and the other side did this, and you then see these soldiers march into the village, see them plunder everything, see them do horrible things, even if they now move on to plunder somewhere else and they leave you alone. A lot of years in the future, this kid will literally have this memory in their head. This is traumatizing. They're not gonna forget that. And then in the future, when they probably have a chance, there is a high possibility that they will choose violence against these soldiers, against the other side, for what they did. And at that point, when you see the horrors that are just befalling them right now, who would be like, oh, you don't have a right to that? Like, no one should ever harm another person, but if this already happened to you, there is very little that really takes your rage away, takes this pain away, and somewhere it will just explode out of you in one way or another, and the easiest way to do that is just be violent back to them. Try to get your revenge or something. It's like... Yeah, like... This is the biggest problem. There's just nothing positive in this commentary that I can really say, because we literally see what's happened to the city. We hear how the soldiers talk about it. There is no little thing that I can point to be like, this is the light at the end of the tunnel and see how good things could be. There is nothing here to really point at. Right now, it's just misery and suffering.
I want this to end. I want my mom and dad to tell me everything will be okay. I want to play with my baby brother in the treehouse. I want to go to school. I want to play with my friends in the marsh. And I want to listen to Uncle Jaffer's sermons. I want things to go back to normal. I don't think they ever will.
They never will. That's the problem. Once these things are done, they are done. There is no going back. This will stay with you forever. And that, especially for a kid, is like I can't imagine anything worse happening to you. I'll just be honest. Losing your family like this, having to live through this. Like, what do you even do? Like, even if the soldiers move on and don't find her and she just is okay here, this child will never, like, have a normal life. This will always be something at the back of her mind that will just... Every happiness she has will be tainted by this. Partially, probably also because of survivor's guilt. Like, her parents, her brother, they didn't make it. Only her. And having the will to live on after, like, well, in this case, your entire world came crumbling down. That's not easy. And especially if you're all alone, that's like... That is a miserable thing to live with.
They were always nice to me. Sal wanted me to stay with them at their outpost, but I didn't want to. This is my home. She came to see me in secret and make sure I had food. This morning, she told me she was leaving. She wanted me to leave Jova with them. I told her I was staying for Uncle Jaffer. She gave me more food and said goodbye. I hate them.
Understandable.
They killed my mom and dad. They killed my baby brother. He was only 5. Miss Haley was right about them. They're not people. They're all murderers. Everyone I know is gone. They're with Zethris now, in the higher place. Uncle Jaffer talks about it in his sermons. It's where we go when we die. It's a place that has no memories. You only feel happiness.
That actually sounds a little sad and cold. Like, sure, suffering like this is not something good, but everything we live through is what shapes us as a person. So just, like, I definitely never experienced something like this, so I can't compare some bad things happening in my life to whatever this child feels right now. I can't even begin to express how terrible this must feel for her, but I mean, yeah, maybe it is so bad that you just want to forget it. You just don't want to ever be reminded of it. But I mean, partially, don't you also lose a part of yourself if you just completely forget about something this impactful? I don't know, just no memories, only happiness feels... That feels bleak, That doesn't feel like the happy ever after. That feels like you're literally washed clean of your own personality. So that now you can be happy. And it's like, well, you probably are, because you never known anything else, I guess. If you don't have your memories anymore. And I guess for people in a situation like this that have suffered this much, that might be preferable. That's... yeah, that might be something to think about. But still, nothing good.
It's where my mom and dad, maybe brother, are.
I was just wanted to say, like, please don't say anything like you want to join them. That would really...
They're demons. They're here because of the Sabinians. They're friends with the demons. They don't attack them. See? They're friends with them.
They don't attack them. Now, do they not attack humans in general if we don't stir them up, if we don't get too close to them? Or are they literally only attacking? Like, not attacking the Sabinians? This could be just perception, because war happened, bad things happened, the Sabinians took over the town, and now suddenly the creatures appeared and they're not attacking them. So it could just be that this is just how she sees it and it doesn't actually mean anything, but what if it does mean anything? What if it does mean something, I mean? I'm reading too much into that, probably, but... can we make you at least a little bit less sad by giving... No, that's not for you, but... do you want a teddy?
I don't need this.
No. No, you do not. There is no happiness here. This is the type of thing that, like, it doesn't matter to which side this child belongs. It's just, how can people be okay with something like war when this is the outcome? Like, just think about it. If this happens to your children, how would you think about that? What would you do? But that's probably the problem, right? Because people would be so defensive about their children, so angry at the other side for doing bad things, that they would then be like, yeah, we have to kill them first so that they can't do this to our children. But that's the problem. There is a door we can open, but we can't get to it? Oh, this is the... wait, this is the outside door where the game was like, doesn't open from the side, there's something blocking the door. Yeah, okay. So we're not opening that. Doesn't look like there's anything up there. So I don't think I have to try to get up there, but... the more I get into this, the more I am like... What do I even say anymore? It's just all completely... like, miserable isn't even the right word. It's just... It's pure suffering all around. Misery, suffering, there's nothing good.
I found the poor pup whimpering alone in a house, just abandoned there by the owners. Unbelievable how utterly heartless these palamists are.
Well, they probably also ran out when the bombing started, so... or were taken out by the bombs, potentially.
He's in good hands now, though. Aren't you? Who's a good boy?
Don't harm the... though we can free the dog.
Hey! Hands off! I found him. He's mine now.
Okay.
I found the poor pup. He's in good hands.
Okay. But yeah, like, I don't think that whoever owned that dog before chose to abandon it. I don't think what you're saying is completely reasonable, but I'm also not expecting any one of these people to be reasonable at this point.
They recently assigned me to this battalion. I needed a breather after we pushed through Umbrahan. I heard rumors about what was going on behind the front lines. That shit in the forest. That isn't me. The Asterian army is filled with men like Vass. And he is as filthy as they come. Watch your back.
Another regretful soldier. Yeah, but it's a bit too late for regret. Now it has happened. You can never make it not happen.
I've seen Enzo and Daniel do some fucked up shit, but this takes the cake. Almost retched when I walked in. And again, what happened to their families? I guess it's tit for tat, huh?
Oh. Well, let's see how horrible this is. Hey. There's another stuffed animal. Oh, but we can do something with it. I thought we could take it. Maybe we could give that to someone, like the girl. Like, we only have a bloody teddy bear that she doesn't want. That makes some sense and all, but... And you're still in here, and you're just smoking. I have no words. Oh. Bottle of meat. We can... Yeah, we can get that to the... What do you have to say for yourself? Oh, you're just yawning. This is...
Damn it! Of course I drew the short straw. The worst cleanup job in town and I pull it. Figures.
Oh, you're not necessarily responsible for that. I am sorry that I assumed you were. I am actually sorry. You do not deserve that then. But this is the other side. And there is... Entity. No people here. Sabinian dogs we will kill. Yeah. But that's the problem, the whole thing of, like, death to all Sabs. The soldiers right now occupying are the Sabinians, so all of those things, they were written on the walls by the people that actually lived here? Potentially as a protest against the occupying force. I mean, I didn't expect to go through here, but I expected to maybe just see something of interest, and sure, we have the lights to see interactables, but like, those are just normal stores. There's not much else here. And we're back here, which is actually close to where we want to be. Because I want to deliver the meat. We don't have to go to the Abbey for it. We can just deliver this.
A hooch, right? I was...
And remember, we have to trade.
That is almost empty. That... Well, I guess it's a start. I'd be a lot more appreciative of a full bottle of...
No, okay, we have to go to the...
it's just...
Yeah, he just says the same things again. Okay. We have to get a full bottle from the Abbey. That was not enough. Which means, as far as I'm seeing it, we're now We have up there, there's Hollow Walkers. We have going more to that side is also Hollow Walkers and an empty part. And then we have the blacksmith. Before we go out back into combat, I would say time to open some doors. Let's look around the house first. Okay. Nothing there. Oh. You just have a freaking... That's cool. I mean, if you were actually using a skateboard on this, close to this, if an accident happens, it probably was a very bad accident. Like, this does not seem safe. Then again, old times, so people probably took that differently. Locked from the other side. How do we get in? I didn't see any way to get in. Interesting. Huh. That door doesn't even respond. So can we get in through some kind of basement? Guess we'll find an answer potentially in here, because we have a key for this. The house of our potential father. So let's see what we're finding. Landscape painting. Some books that we can't really look at. Old TV. Well, probably not old in this world. Ooh. Children's room. Potentially ours? Family picture. Framed picture of a young boy in soapbox car. Found in Vitalis' house in Jova, Casa Marshes. You're not saying anything? I expected if that could be you that you would say anything. Then again, he doesn't remember how his parents looked like, so maybe his memory is not good enough that he remembers. Something like that. Keys. Car. A set of car keys with a toy card keychain. Found in Vitalis' house. Victor's vigil. Good deed started. Yeah, talking about Victor, where is he? Also, the lamp is still on. Basement. Okay, typewriter. So, potentially some kind of work. What is that on the right? Where the light is right now? Is this just some kind of environmental thing, or is this like a big, tall, hooded figure? Nah, this is too tall. Yeah, those are gravestones down there. So this is like a big, potentially like a monument. I don't know, with a red tree like this and this imagery, this is not necessarily something that sounds... Oh yeah, comfortable home decoration, so... Are we going to visit that place? Family picture. A framed picture of a young man and his pregnant wife. Found in Vitalis' house. This could be a clue to which car the key belongs to, so red car with a big 33... 32. I cannot read. Okay, it is our mother. It is... Well, potentially, isn't it? Mother used to live in Village of Jova. Could this woman from the pictures be my mother? Yeah. That's the question, isn't it? Is she the one, or is she not? New information on the village. The soldiers rounded up the villagers and executed them in the woods. Currently occupied by the Assyrian armed forces. Unlock the front door with the key Victor gave me. Yeah, but where is Victor? He said he would be here. Rebecca, she's hiding in the attic of the bombed-out house with a large tree house next to it. Has lost her entire family during the assault. Saw Uncle Jaffa being arrested by the soldiers, and we now also know what they do to him. A young girl of about 10 years of age. That's just... Ow. Abbot Jaffa, spiritual leader of Parfum Abbey, found and held captive in the village of Jova. He gave himself up to protect his niece, Rebecca. He was arrested and questioned about the abbey. Asked me to check in on his niece. She's hiding in the building with a treehouse next to it. Accused Captain Vaz of being a criminal and a thief. I don't think... Why is that standing there, actually? Why is that information? Like, he and his soldiers are plundering the village, so... that makes him a thief in some capacity, right? You would be still classified as a thief. Why is this something like an important thing? He accused him of being a criminal and a thief. I don't know. Overthinking. But the wording is curious. Because, like, that's not necessarily an accusation, really. It's from what this person knows, that seems like a very much foregone conclusion. It's just like, yeah, this is what happened here. This is the person in charge of the soldiers plundering the village. And he does evil things. Literally questioning the abbot in definitely not nice ways. So I absolutely understand why you would say he's a criminal and a thief, but why does it mention accused? Is this insinuating that he is not? Like, that Captain Vaz is not a criminal and a thief? Again, overthinking. Old man in religious garbs shows signs of physical abuse. Yeah, and we know why. There's also something about the abbey. Abbot Jaffa is the spiritual leader, located at the southeast of Jova. Captain Vaz sent his men to ransack the abbey. Literally proving the whole thing of, like, criminal and thief, so... Again, I'm reading too much into it, but still, why did it say accused? We have to somehow find a way to get in there, though. And I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that, because I don't think any of the soldiers will be as nice as just letting us go in there. Oh. Oh, now that's a picture that might be interesting. We have a ring. We have... that seems like it's a bit overgrown, potentially, at least at the top. It's somewhere in potentially water or the marshes, the swamp around here. In the middle there's a light. And then in the middle of the ring also stands something that resembles the Hollow Walkers, but more like a statue of it, because it's like actually hollow. Interesting. We already know that, well, we're thinking that potentially... No, that's just landscapes. We're thinking that potentially Vitalis has something to do with the weapons, because he is a blacksmith. He made the heirloom out of the same material. So let's check out the basement. But yeah, curious image. I'm very interested to see if we're gonna find more about that. That seems to have a specific lock. But it could be that this fits. Note revenge. After vowing revenge on my father. Did my mother write this? Found in Vitalis' house. Vitalis, do you remember the book you gave me when I became pregnant? It was a play from the outside. You had bought it from a smuggler. I remember a particular passage that aptly captures my newfound feelings toward you. I will never pause again, never stand still, till either death have closes these eyes of mine, or fortune given me measure of revenge. Until we meet again, Vitalis. Family picture. A framed picture of a mother playing with her infant son, found in Vitalis' house. 17 on the car, 32 on the other. Is that a code for something? According to the note I found, she's no longer in the village of Jova. She probably also did certain things. Used my necklace to open a locked mechanism on its chest. Yeah. Some other things in exploration. No, these are just... yeah, the deeds that we have yet to complete. Interesting. So, our protagonist said that he did only remember his mother, that she she put him in a car that was driving away and said, don't come back. So now I want to know what happened between her and Vitalis. Could it be that she is trying to protect us from our father for something? Another one of these, but... well, we have one of the symbols we need. But this doesn't work. Yeah. I need to make mental notes or actual notes of all of these once we find the rods to actually come back and open every single one of them. That's gonna be fun. Oh. Are we trying to put them in order? So, family first. Like, mother pregnant with father, then mother with child. And then... no. Then child all alone. Could also be, like, they have... like... you can see it on the walls, that this is also exactly how they perfectly fit. But what are we doing with that? And we need a code. Ah! 32, 17, and... that's not how you look at this. No. Oh, that's completely washed out. I can't make out a number here. But yeah, that's definitely the code we need. This is the numbering. If it doesn't bear fruit, I will just be back here, but maybe we can find the car. The little green car in a better... well, or rather at least more clean. Yeah, there's the little car, it's a 13. I wanted to look outside actually, but yeah, I think that is it. So, I don't know if we need to put this here. I'm just going to, because why not? So it is 32, 17, 13. Oh. And we found the mannequin from the picture. But, like, its resemblance to the Hollow Walkers is uncanny, like, that can't be a coincidence. There is another big sword, like the one we're carrying. Limbic Greatsword. Wait, the same one? I mean, the one I carry is leveled up because I used it, but it's the same one. Okay, that's curious. What purpose does it have to get the same weapon twice? And another glyph that we so far couldn't insert yet, but maybe, because this is the blacksmith's house, maybe we find something here. Another tab to use, no lock-on required. Guard stamina loss, minus 33%. Duration, 45 seconds. Limbic energy surfaces around you, reducing endurance loss when blocking a hit. Interesting. And another one. For Limbic Sphere Grief, we have not seen the symbol for grief yet. Although maybe we have with the item that reduces grief damage taken, so maybe we did actually. Use mechanic charge, no lock-on required. Damage per second, which 30, 50, 90, so probably based on the level of charge, how long we charge it. A pool of deep sorrow unfolds. A pool of deep sorrow unfurls around you, inflicting lingering damage to affected limbic entities. Okay. AoE damage. Oh my god, another glyph. Rage Spike. Use mechanic tab, no lock-on. Damage 520, that's a big one. Explosion radius 5 meters. Pointed lance of calcified rage erupts from your weapon and blazes toward your target, detonating upon impact. Should we just shoot like an explosion at it? Okay. Another one. Glyph. Frightful Ambush. Limbic Sphere Terror. Use mechanic set and trigger. Like a trap? No lock-on required. Damage 510. Explosion radius 5 meters. You spawn a pool of pure terror energy that can be activated at will, leaving the seized limbic entities in dreadful pain. Or like a remote detonation. Another one, Glyph Delirium, Limbic Sphere Ecstasy. Use mechanic tab, no lock-on required. Stance damage 100, radius 10 meters. Acute delirium swells and grips limbic entities in front of you, eroding their stance. That could be useful. Okay, now I'm really sitting here like, we're gonna get something to actually use all that. Note, limbic locks. Notes concerning the functioning of the limbic lock mechanisms found in a safe in Vitalis' house in Jova, Akasa Marshes. And the safe was just unlocked. We didn't need a key for it. Interesting. 14th March, 1856. To all brothers and sisters of the Vigil, we have made great progress in deciphering the ancient locking mechanism used by the Enigmata Order of the Eye. We believe that what lies beyond these mechanisms may well provide answers that have eluded us for centuries. To unlock the mechanism, a specific set of keys must be inserted into all available slots. These keys are long rectangular rods that the Order appears to have hidden in strategic locations across Hadia. Each rod is hued based on its limbic sphere and carries an inscribed symbol. Thus, to unlock a mechanism, each slot requires a specific key. The key's hue and symbol must match the slot. May your vigilance never falter. Gustave Le Tam. I don't think we've heard that name before. And we have one that is Grieve. W. We can't look at what symbols that actually is from here. I guess it might be just potentially the Grieve symbol. I'm just gonna walk over to this and look if we have what we need for this now. We do. The rods are pushed out. Wait. This is a Grief limbic rod. On the top of the, well, the lock, so not where we insert the rods, but in the top there is the Grief symbol. So that's what the two symbols mean. So every single lock has a limbic sphere symbol on it, and we need rods of that limbic sphere that have the right symbols on them. Okay, got it. So this is an incredible, like, we have to find 50 different freaking things and combine them in multiple different ways to open all of these locks. That is very much, like, much more actually engaging with the mechanic than I expected it to be. But okay. More stuff for later to figure out when we can actually use them. Maybe we can change the limbic sphere of the rods in some way to make them useful. Vigil Note. A mysterious note found in the secret basement office of Vitalis' house in Jova. Brothers and sisters of the Vigil, the journalist has arrived. Meet at the Weeping Night as planned. A. And on the note is a symbol. At the back is a shield, in front is a book, and then in front of that is a candle that is burning. We might see that again. Probably with things that have to do with the brothers and sisters of the Vigil. The Weeping Night. Yeah, new location discovered. Have we seen anything like that? The Vigils. There is mention of the Vigil in the note I found in Vitalis' note. Seemed to be a secret organization. Well, yeah. Weeping Night, no, we have not. We have not yet. It's not something we know about. Huh. Letter warning. A letter warning Vitalis of potential danger, found in the secret basement office of Vitalis' house. Vitalis, it has become abundantly clear to me that we are being systematically hunted. This is more than mere coincidence. Entire chapters are going silent. You know how I feel about this business with the journalist. We have never been so vulnerable. Now is not the time to be bringing in outsiders. More than ever, be vigilant, brother. Your friend, Damien. We also have not heard that name before. It has, of course, the symbol of the Vigils on it. Okay, this secret group of people was hunted. So, if they are part of a secret group of people, that also partially probably explains as to why he could be connected to the weird, strange weapons that we've seen, why our heirloom is made out of the same material. All of that makes sense, right? It has all a sense of there is something going on that we don't understand. We're gonna have to figure out what this secret organization wants to do. Can we actually just in our inventory, like, look at these things and do something with them? We can expect, we can favorite them, but we cannot, like, change them. That is what I would want to do. I would have, like, wanted to know if I can just, on the fly, potentially change them. And we have a good chunk of these now, of these glyphs. But they can only be added once we upgrade it. the weapon. We need to upgrade the weapon to unlock glyph slots. Still a question of, like, how do we do that? So, for the most part, this did give us some things. But it also mostly gave us more questions. Now we have more mystery about Vitalis. He's part of a secret organization. What are they about? What are they trying to do? We also have...
Hey! I made it back! Come and see me when you're done.
Ah! There you are. Okay. We might get our answers. That's good. I was questioning how we got into this, and I actually wanted to talk about it. I was like, we didn't find anything, and I was like, maybe we have to go to the well, because that was also an underground area. But no, Victor is here. And will now answer us things. Another limbic sword also. Note training ground. A note left by Vitalis concerning a hidden vigil training ground in Akasa Marshes, found at a blacksmith shop. Victor, I've always respected your moral objection to martial training. Should you ever change your mind or simply wish to evaluate your handiwork, there exists an inveterate training facility used by generations of vigils right here in Akasa Marshes. You can find the entrance below Monument Hill. Pillars ensure entrance must wield a limbic weapon, counterclockwise from the northeast. I found this already. This was the puzzle where I was like, how the frick was I supposed to know this? Nothing indicates it. Well, here's the clue that gives us the indication. I just did it by brute force. Because I actually wanted to test if I could charge up my limbic weapon with the stones by hitting them and then hit the door. Potentially something like that, but no. Here's the answer. I just did this on accident. But we already did it. Looks all pretty normal. I mean, I guess if you're part of a secret society, you can't be looking too suspicious and all. But I don't know. I expected to find something in here that actually gives us more of an like, oh, this is not just normal blacksmith equipment because of the limbic weapons and stuff, but... Well then, Victor, enlighten us.
Thanks for helping us in the tunnel. I left Lieutenant Rue at the outpost. I'll check in on her later. Any luck figuring out how to open the door in the basement? I looked everywhere for the code.
Oh, my lord. Well, from the top.
Can you tell me more about yourself?
When I met Vitalis, I was in a very dark place. If it wasn't for him, chances are I'd either be a criminal or dead. Face down in a ditch somewhere. But Vitalis saw something in me. He gave me focus, discipline, and skills. Skills that would one day serve a great purpose.
Something related to this? The strange weapons? Is that your purpose? You can... I mean, I'm assuming you're going to be in gameplay upgrading them for me now, because you're already wielding blacksmith equipment, but did he actually, like, prepare you to have to do that someday?
What are these weapons?
They're called limbic weapons. Vitalis told me that they were intricately tied to this country's history. He taught me how to repair and enhance them.
So he did.
But to do so, I need limbic shards. And Vitalis wouldn't tell me where the shards come from.
Well, probably because you're not the one who should ever look for them.
He kept a small stash hidden behind the red toolbox. Go get it, and I'll show you what I can do.
I may have some of these already, because I cleared out the entire marsh. Oops. Maybe I should have done this the other way around, but I didn't. But yeah, he told them how to do that. But he didn't tell them where they come from. Does that also mean he didn't tell them about the creatures?
You know anything about this necklace?
Vitalis has one too, though it's not quite the same. I noticed some of his friends wore similar ones around their necks. They call themselves the Vigil.
Okay, this is not just an heirloom, this is a you're part of the group indicator.
I think they're made of limbic shards like your weapons, but I'm not sure. The weapons, the necklaces, and the vigils are all connected somehow. I guess Vitalis left out some lessons.
Now, are the soldiers vigils, the black ones that we don't know about? Or are they something else that just also... I mean, again, I think they mostly picked up the weapons inside of that rune and didn't come equipped with them in the first place. So, probably not. But they probably have met some of the vigils. And we can probably find out something if we meet more of those soldiers. Hopefully.
What is going on with Abbot Jaffer?
When I left to find Vitalis, they kept him in a small house in the center of town, exposing him like that in the open. Captain Voss wants to send a message to whoever remains in Jova. I'll find a way to get him some water when the guard is distracted. It's all I can do for him. Whatever Captain Voss wants from Abbot Jaffer, he won't stop until he gets it.
Potentially, when we get into the Abbey, we can find something that maybe makes Voss happy enough that he leaves the town alone. Hopefully. Yeah, no, I with everything going on here, I don't believe in happy endings in this game. I don't think we're gonna see anything that goes well. Probably more that things go worse.
What do you know about the Vigil?
Vitalis told me about the Vigil, but not in detail. Before he left, he promised to explain everything upon his return.
Well, didn't expect to get too much out of that.
What do you make of this note?
Vitalis never mentioned a journalist. I know where the Weeping Knight is, though. It's in the Vissa Hills. It's a large statue of a Sabinian knight holding another fallen in combat. I'm surprised it's still around, considering it's in the Palamist province. It's nestled under a large weeping willow tree. People often light candles and leave pictures of their loved ones at the foot of the statue.
Okay, next place to go to, probably, story-wise.
Do you know the woman in the pictures?
Whoever she is, she seems to be a painful memory. Vitalis became angry whenever I asked about her, and he would shut me out completely. So I dropped it.
Interesting. Now, why though? Could it be that he planned to have our protagonist, his son, be part of the vigils and potentially even do something, and the mother was just like, no, that's too dangerous, you can't let our little kid do that? Is that what they had a falling out about? Right now that's just conjecture. I don't have proof for that, so let's just move on.
Can you tell me more about Vitalis?
Vitalis was haunted by the past and anxious about the future. He was often away, sometimes for months at a time. After seeing the destruction of the war and the creature's sudden appearance, I now understand why he was so preoccupied.
Well then.
Any idea what Captain Voss is up to?
My best guess is that he's thieving. Be careful when dealing with Voss. Men like him are unpredictable, which makes Voss very dangerous.
Again, my best guess is that he is thieving. I'm reading too much into these specific words, but this is another thing that's like, it looks like it, but potentially that may not be the whole truth.
I'm only alive because I'm useful to him. Thanks Etheris, too. Otherwise, I'd be dead or, worse, shipped off to a prison camp.
Well then, what do you have to tell us about all of the areas and people and groups?
We've always been cut off from the rest of the world, even before Giri and Yankel's dictatorship. Everyone acts surprised when Sabinians and Palamists rip each other apart. Isolation has terrible consequences on individuals. Imagine what it can do to an entire population. In fact, you don't have to. Look around. There are plenty of examples of such consequences. It's like Hadia is a science experiment gone awry, meant to teach the rest of the world a lesson.
Okay, that last sentence is just... The soldier that was dying and bleeding out who got crushed by a boulder called the Sabinians and the Palamists guinea pigs and rats in a maze. Which is, so to speak, participants in an experiment. And he also refers to it. That is... Huh. Again, might be reading too much into that, but still, the wording is curious.
After witnessing and hearing of atrocities being committed all over Hadia, it only seems to fill my spirit with dark thoughts. One thought stands out from the rest, though. Whatever these creatures are, we deserve them.
For all the terrible things humans have done, we probably deserve some punishment. Especially in, like, dark times like war, there's probably a lot of people that think like that. That if you're not on board with what the other people around you are doing, that it's like, well, you were the sinners, you chose violence, and now you are also the one who brought all of this terror upon all of us.
I have nothing but good to say about them. They're the first outsiders I ever met. They were very friendly to everyone and very helpful. Lieutenant Rue gave me a few odd jobs here and there. Her men taught me how to play football. I had a blast, as did some of the kids in Jova. They organized a small tournament, which helped us forget about the political tensions flaring up. I feel sorry for Lieutenant Rue, though. She lost all her men. They were all very close, especially with Rojo and Typhon. I should check in on her soon. My father was Sabinian. I'm a freak occurrence in Hadia. I belong to both worlds. I think the Sabinians got lost in their so-called progressiveness. They seem to have lost touch with their roots. If you go far enough into history, Sabinians were all Palamists at one time. I think it's important to know where you're from. It might humble some of the pride and temper reckless ambitions.
I mean, we know that they worship the same god, so that they have this similar roots definitely makes sense. There's probably a lot of muddled history that over the course of the game will be clearer and clearer, like what actually happened. So right now there might be not that much to be said about it, but later we can probably have like an entire big discussion about it or something. I don't know. I'm interested to see what we uncover, definitely. For like the happenstance of the past, and also everything connected to the weird occurrences, the entities, and what happens with our family. Those are the mysteries I definitely want to like delve deep into. I want to figure them out. All of the things happening right now, all of the, well, the literal suffering all around us, it's there, but it's not something I personally want to focus on that much. That I hope that we can get more into the actual like history of things and the, well, yeah, some more ancient ruins to figure out what's actually going on there. Mostly because honestly, like lingering on this topic of war, there is not really a perfect good solution. And even just in this episode, I'm spinning in circles with everything that I say, so there's just not a good thing to comment on a video game for a long time that just doesn't really add anything at some point. It becomes very dry very quickly. Again, it is a topic that has to be mentioned at some point. It's something we are not allowed to ever forget. These things, similar things, have happened in reality, and sometimes we need to be reminded of the sins of our past. Not necessarily us specifically, or even our family, or even our country, or our religion, or whatnot, but just in general, things that humans have done to just give us all a warning of like we're potentially close to repeating the sins of the past. But again, it's just not something that I want to focus on. I would like to have a more positive outlook on the world, a more positive outlook encapsulating mostly like we can do better. We don't have to repeat our past sins. We can, if we truly try, actually make a better world happen. But so far this game definitely does not go in that direction. Okay. Back to more info.
Don't tell anyone, but my mom was a palomist. I attended mass and participated in some of the rituals. It made my mother happy. But I grew out of it. Now that I think about it, that's when my life took a turn for the worse. Vitalis helped me out of that hole I had dug for myself. However, I would be a liar if I said that my faith didn't play a big part in my recovery. I'm happy to say that I stand in his gaze again. And yes, I admit it. I pray to him at times, especially for Vitalis' safe return.
Nah, we all need something to believe in. Doesn't have to be religion, can be something else. But we all need something sometimes to get through the hard times, something to... It can be just literally your own life goals that once you get through whatever is happening right now, that you just have something to look forward to. It can be just the thing of life literally being like, oh, hard work and the work sucks and you're moving on, but maybe in a few weeks you're finally gonna have a little time off, a few days where you like visit your family or certain parts of your family that you haven't met for a long time and just have a nice time again. You always need something positive in our lives, and for some people that is religion, in the honest opinion. I have met some, like I live next to a very religious old woman, and that woman is just happy as hell. Like, she is so freaking friendly, and it's like, yeah, I'm not really into religion that much, but it's just nice to see people that really, they do believe, and they're just nice people around. That is like the type of person that I would put out there as a big, like, literally like poster child of like, this is what it could be, this is what it should be. Like, we all need some happiness in our lives, we all need something to believe in that makes us like be able to get through the darkness, to somehow combat all the terrible things around us here and there. Yeah, and again, no matter what it is, I don't think there's ever really a point that you should be ashamed of that. If it is something that makes you happy and no one else gets like harmed because of it, then you should also just like stand proud of it and be like, yes, this is the thing that helped me to get through this. This is the thing that brought life back into my life. It doesn't need to be for everyone. You shouldn't force this upon others. Just because it helped you doesn't mean it helps others. But just being there like, I'm proud to say that this actually helped me, is like, that's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to realize, and I think we all need to look at our lives at some time to really figure out like, what is it that gives us the strength to like still stand and keep moving forward. And again, it doesn't have to be religious, it doesn't have to be anything special. It literally can just be like, you have a nice family at home that you come back to every day. That's all it takes for some to just be purely, like, truly happy. But again, we all need something like this, and to realize like when things go bad, that certain things did pull you through that time, and then to acknowledge it, that can help you as a person to really find your footing again. Partially also a bit talking from personal experience. But again, it just sometimes you just need something that helps. And again, as long as nobody is harmed for it, including yourself, like, right? You should not do anything that like is destructive to yourself. But as long as nobody's harmed, it's like whatever it is that you're somehow trying to stand on, as long as it helps you, go for it.
Vitalis had a relapse a while back. I helped him through it. He let a few things slip out, though. It didn't make much sense then, but I started connecting the dots when I crossed the marsh. He spoke of these creatures. He said that they were coming. He called it the Calamity. He said they were the physical manifestation of malevolent human emotions, and war was their doorway into our world. I figured it was the alcohol talking. I sure as hell believe him now.
Okay. New interaction available. Craft. You can now visit Victor to create and upgrade limbic equipment. We're gonna do that in a moment. New area discovered. Visa Hills. Oh, it's a new thing where we can travel with the APC. Well, we have stuff to do here still, so we're not doing that yet. But on one hand, interesting. He said our father Vitalis had a relapse with alcohol, but also what Vitalis said what the creatures are. So they're manifested by human bad thoughts, bad emotions, and terrible things like war definitely are something where those are available in abundance. And that is what brought these creatures in. That is interesting. Which goes back to what I said about like what is actually going on with them. We have the limbic spheres that correlate to like grief and wrath. I can't talk sometimes. But all of these, they are, again, they're emotions, they're feelings, and if these creatures are a manifestation of all of our bad feelings, that definitely is an interesting thing. Both in the story of like how it depicts war with all of its horrors and doesn't shy away from showing some of the most horrifying things. And so also through these creatures manifesting that in a more philosophical way of like bad thoughts of what they can do to you and things, but also just in terms of like a fantasy lore of what these things are. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, I'm very intrigued at that. If that is just something that Vitalis said, something that he maybe believes, or something that we actually will figure out is just true. Well then, let's figure out what we can actually do with you.
How can I help?
Okay, first and foremost, upgrading weapons. I think the one I want to upgrade the most are the basic sword and the great sword. View possible upgrades. Oh. In order to upgrade a weapon to grade 2, it must be attuned to a specific limbic sphere. A weapon's limbic sphere will determine which glyphs it can bear, granting unique abilities. So we have to decide between the four. Interesting. Limbic sphere converts to rage. Max level increases to 8. Okay, I was thinking like maybe it's a different here, but no, max level is increased with all things. So the level is tied to the grade of the weapon. So if we upgrade the grade of a weapon multiple times, probably, then we can level it up more by using it. I already said something in I think in the first part about what I think about the leveling by using it. It's the thing of like, if you use one weapon for the entire playthrough, it's gonna be very powerful. But if later on I find a weapon where I'm like, ooh, this is super cool and awesome, it's like, well, but now my weapons are already upgraded to like grade 4, grade 5, or however this goes. And it's like, and now I have to start over. Because my weapon will now be like at minimum level, even though the weapon I already use all the time could be like at level 20 or something. And that could be a big difference in performance of how good it is. So I'm just sitting there like, how much will that impact the playthrough? Right now, I don't know how long the game is, and if we maybe have other ways later on to like level up a weapon, not just increasing it great, but also like granted the levels potentially. So maybe this will not be a big problem, or just enemies later on will just give you a big boost in like weapon XP, so you don't have to fully care that much. So we have to see. Could be not that bad, could be actually fine. But yeah, deciding on what we want to do, that's an interesting one. Because I would therefore kind of need to look at... You could also imbue defensive gear. Victor can imbue defensive gear using Limbic Shot, increasing potency and activating potential latent powers. Currently imbue defensive gear to grade 2 and weapons to grade 3. Weave limbic consumables. Can weave limbic consumables using limbic shards. These constructs of old were designed by the Order scholars to combat the limbic threat. And study. Much of the art of limbic smithing has been lost to time. If any vestiges of these forgotten techniques should be found, Victor can study them to improve his capabilities. And then we can like raise how high we can upgrade stuff. And glyphs. Browse Victor's records of all known limbic glyphs, dutifully preserved by the Vigil over generations. Should these glyphs be recovered, they can be inscribed into limbic weapons of a matching sphere to grant unique abilities. Neutral glyphs can be inscribed into all weapons. Okay, so there are also neutral ones. Interesting, but I can't... No, I can. Oh! Nah, I don't want to spoil stuff right now. This is just looking at it that, like, this is what we have. And we can see where the others are. Okay. Well, I can look at what I have to decide a bit better of what I want to put into the weapon, of what I want to craft. So we have the Perfect Guard. That's neutral. It reduces endurance loss when blocking a hit. That is just generally fine. I don't really think like that's like super interesting. So it's not something... It's neutral, so it doesn't matter. If we can just insert it in everything, it doesn't matter. For grief, we have Lingering Pain. There was the charge, and it's a pool of deep sorrow unfurls around you, inflicting lingering damage. Okay, so that is... It's damage per second also. Duration 7 seconds, and it is a charge. So it's an AoE, we have to charge up. That could be interesting. Definitely one of the biggest problems with the combat we had last part was the group, the one big group of like 5 enemies. That was definitely the big one. So an AoE ability definitely seems like it could be very, very, very useful. So that's a contender for something that I might want. Then we have the Glyph Rage Spike. That's... okay, we shoot something forward which then explodes. So ranged AoE could also be very good at combating groups. We also have the Rage Glyph Animosity, which is... oh, that was the... Pure Hatred manifests into a lasso that ensnares a target limbic entity, pulling it back into melee range. I said that was really good, and I still feel like that. Especially in that big group fight also, like, once you defeat the Haze, getting close to any of the other like the Hollow Walkers, or especially like the ones you really want to take out. So far I feel like the ranged enemies are just the priority targets, but you're not necessarily in range. So this definitely is something where I'm like, okay, these two I'm interested in. If I can put both of them in a weapon, that would be cool. So that definitely is up for contention. Then we have the Terrorglyphs. We have Recoil. You recoil backwards, leaving nearby limbic entities stunned. So it's like an extra dodge to get out of problematic situations. Also helpful for the same situations. And we have Frightful Ambush. That was the set and trigger We can spawn a pool that can be activated at will. So it's like a no, not a timed explosive. It's a, how do you call that when you set it and you have to trigger it manually? Doesn't matter. It's a thing like you aggro a group of enemies, put it down, run back a bit. They all go into a range, and then you go and boom, boom. Very efficient, probably. This is definitely somewhat more defensive in what we've seen so far. But again, it's 2, so I guess this is also very much up for debate if we can put in 2. And then we have for Ecstasy Delirium. Delirium swells and grips limbic entities in front of you, eroding their stance. So this could be good because when their stance is eroded, they're completely stunned, they don't do anything, and you get to do a critical attack. I think I'm going to go for the Rage first, and then see what happens. And since I'm using it right now, I'm going to put it on a greatsword and just see what happens. We're just gonna do this.
I'm getting good at this.
It definitely changed the appearance, so that's interesting. And now upgrading it again, now we need normal shards, but we also need rage shards. Upgrades the weapon to grade 3 and max level increases to 12. We can do that. We can also have a preview to just look at what that does. Oh, that's interesting. Increasing the grade itself doesn't change anything, so only the level affects of how powerful a weapon is. That goes back to what I said of like, how good is that if we do it like this? How much, like, how big is the discrepancy once you like, if I put this to grade 3 and then use this for a long time, and this gets fully leveled up to level 12, and then I find a new weapon where I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool, but then I am at level 1 again. That is such a big jump. That might be something worth thinking about, of how that really works. But again, right now I'm just gonna be like, yeah, you know what? Let's just go for it. And then we can't equip glyphs. Yes, it's exactly what I wanted to do right now. From the inventory or the loadout screen, select a weapon and use the Add Glyphs option. A weapon can hold up to 3 glyphs, each unlocking a unique ability. Glyphs can only be added to weapons of grade 2 or higher. Does not say something about you can only add them at certain upgrade levels, so it also doesn't seem like they are locked anymore, like they are here. So can we just add as many as we want? Can I just now... Yeah, I can add all of them. Well... I'm not sure if I want this necessarily. I have to use it and then for a certain time it happens. Also interesting that it shows, the block one shows multiple symbols down there at Limbic Power. That's kind of interesting. And actually... another plane. That is probably something you can hear. What I wanted to say is actually that second symbol, I think we have seen that before. I think that's the symbol in... Yeah, it is. It's the damage protection when we are undamaged. That's from the Limbic Sphere Terror. But here it is a neutral ability in it. Oh, that's not how we do it. Limbic energy surfaces around you, reducing endurance loss when blocking a hit. Why does it also have that other symbol there? Does it mean, like, if that effect is active, that it also boosts this effect? Something like that? Okay, but we can just put them in. Now...
What needs my attention?
Want to know one thing. The second one we're going to upgrade We had more for Terra, so I'm gonna go with that.
Here, it's better than you.
And I don't see a reason why not just upgrade it again.
Myself this time.
We're gonna use these two for the most part, but what I really want to know is now... Probably the answer is no, but can I add... Yeah, like we can add these two. And then can I add this? It is inserted there and it would remove it. Okay, we cannot do that. I expected that. That's fine. That's completely okay. I just wanted to know if they let us do that. No, they don't. They don't. Okay.
Need upgrades?
Well, I want to see what imbuing defensive gear will do. We have this one, which also increases stamina regen. Run damage. I don't think that that is what I really want. So let's just look at this for the remaining undamaged. To reduce the damage we take, maybe. When we hold preview, what does it do? Okay, more damage absorption. The protection bonus goes up, and also our endurance bonus for our health. So far we have no like leveling. We have nothing that just like passive leveling like in a normal Souls like where you kill enemies and your experience, your souls, whatever it is, use that to upgrade. We also don't have like a leveling by just fighting enemies. We have leveling for our weapons, but not for ourselves. So I guess through this is the way we get more health and other things. It is the same, actually, for all of them. Like, they all go up to 10% and to 1000 endurance.
Vitalis would be proud.
And we cannot upgrade it again, and I don't have more Terror shards, so I can't upgrade this. But we will get them from some of the enemies.
It's better than you.
Okay, what about the consumables? Ah, the one that gives us limbic energy, which we need for the eclipse we just inserted, so we will use this more now. Limbic battery, which increases the energy regeneration. Yeah, this is 500 per one, and this is potentially more, much more. But it's not instant. You get it over half a minute. And the suppressors for all of the different... So just... I don't know. Are these like... this... Like, the weapon didn't change, so I don't want to call them damage types. But I guess they're different types of the enemies, so they probably kind of are. I don't know. It's a bit weird. We have these 50% protection for 20 seconds. And we can just make them from neutral shots. That's probably the most interesting thing to really look at. That's like, we can just like make them from neutrals. And it takes 5 shots per. You also can, like, if you just want to, craft 4 at once. You can just craft multiple times. Like, I don't know. Just in case we need these. I think like getting 5 of everything to just have them might just be good enough. And then let's see if we use them at all. Or how much we use them. And then we will figure out if this is something that I should spend these shards on in the future, or if this is more of a waste. But we have so much right now that I don't think it matters that much. And we have nothing to give him to study more things. Obviously, we just found him, so we're not gonna upgrade his understanding and therefore like let him upgrade our stuff even further right now. But yeah, and okay, that the health bar looks a lot bigger also with that extra. So, yeah. That was not the most eventful episode. This was just talking and exploring this village. One last thing I want to do is we talk to Rebecca. Can we tell you, like, hey, she's okay?
Be wary, my son. The serpent's ways lurk behind every corner.
We can.
I found your niece. She's okay.
Thanks, Atheris. She was always brighter than the other kids. When we leave this place, and we will, I'll take her somewhere peaceful and quiet.
Okay. That's at least something good to look forward to, I guess. Well, we have a well to explore that looks like an actually big underground area. We have more stuff in here. Actually, this is the ON. Well, at least one of the little ON outposts. Yeah, she's here.
Come back later. I need to rest.
Okay. I can live with that. But yeah, we have a time loop to explore. Potentially next time. I at least want to look at that next time. We have probably first the well. The backside there with new creatures to test out all of our new abilities and other things, but this part has been going on long enough, so I'm just gonna call it a day here. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed is the wrong word, because this was misery and suffering all around, but still, hopefully you have a better day than these people. Till next time. Bye.